The 2K Sports pregame show.
Greetings, NBA fans. Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson, and seated beside me, Kenny the Jet Smith and the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight's broadcast will feature the Denver Nuggets as they go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Well, for Minnesota, they're looking to come out strong and make their mark early. They have to look at this game as a great opportunity to do just that. And before we tip off, I just need to ask Shaq, when you think back to great teammates, what are the qualities that make a great teammate?
Well, you want to play the guys who care as much about the game as you do, a guy who puts the team first, a guy who gets you involved, a guy who has the same dreams and aspirations that you have about the game.
Well, that name sounds like Kobe Bryant to me that you were talking about, but I always look for guys who could push me. And I could push them at the same time, where we could work together. It's a family, the basketball team, you playing for 82 games. You need somebody that's going to be in your corner.
Wouldn't you like to push Kenny?
Push him out this set.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
As long as I could push you back.
You may not be able to. Kevin Harlan, take it away, kid.
Boy, just amazing architecture here. The view of the Capitol building in beautiful downtown Denver, Colorado. We'll see Minnesota and the Denver Nuggets. Well, before you look ahead to your busy week, sit down, relax, pull up a chair as we bring you another NBA broadcast. And thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us. I'm Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony and Doris Burke reporting from the sidelines.
Boys, nice and high.
So the Nuggets win the tip. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. On the court for Minnesota, Garnett out there with Anthony, and it's Wall. Then there's Allen Iverson, and it's Chamberlain in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Minnesota really had a rough year last season. A lot of people know that, obviously. A lot to do with their defense. Greg struggled in almost every defensive metric.
Yeah, and, they struggled at times guarding the basketball, but ultimately I think the biggest issue for them was their inability to protect the rim. That's an area and a point of emphasis that has to improve for this young team.
Here's Wall, following the score by Kevin Garnett. Down low, Chamberlain, and he converts the layup.
Oh, that is just weak defense there. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan to give him those kind of baskets at the hoop.
Now here's Lillard, outside Kemp. There's a good screen. Dishes to O'Neal. Butler on the wing. 20 feet out. Can't get it to go. And Minnesota will come the other way. Iverson outside. He dishes it to Wall. He feeds it to Chamberlain. The three from Anthony. O'Neal with the rebound. Well, let's go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Sam Mitchell. Doris, what's the news?
Kevin, he said basically rebounding is as much about energy and effort, and getting to the offensive glass is exactly what he hopes to see. They've already proven to be a great offensive rebounding team, and he'd like to see that reputation grow just a little bit more today, gentlemen.
Thanks for that, Doris. Rebounding certainly the key topic now.
Kevin, you know that, and we've seen so many games, big games, won and lost on the backboards. You have to rebound both boards.
Now Leonard, after the missed three from Allen Iverson. Lillard dishes to Leonard. The screen from Kemp. Lillard against Wall. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And it's Butler missing.
You can't miss those, but even the best do on occasion.
Jimmy Butler is one of those guys who had to overcome major odds just to get to the NBA. Reportedly, his father abandoned the family when Jimmy was an infant. Mom kicked Jimmy out when he was 13. The obstacles and adversity go on, yet he's made it and made it big.
And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. And going back to Jimmy Butler, there were just so many times when he was set up to fail. He was not heavily recruited out of high school. He was even homeless when he was in high school in the Houston area. Went to a junior college, then Marquette, now in the NBA. So he played his freshman year at a junior college, which I think humbled him just a bit, but maybe gave him that work ethic that is so much, Greg, a part of his game now.
And Kevin, the talent was there, and most of all, as we see how he dealt with adversity, the heart was there. He blocked out the distractions, it finally transferred to a major college, and worked his way into becoming a first-round pick. Well, you know that Kawhi Leonard has an incredible reach with his arms, but even his hands are just massive, measured at 10 inches long and 11 inches wide. Wow.
Here's what Denver's going with right now. Towns comes in for Sean Kemp, and it's Harden in for Butler. Both free throws good from Kawhi Leonard. Well, to give some perspective on Leonard's hand size that Greg was talking about, Clark, those measurements, 11 by 10, are what you typically would find on 7-footers. Well, this kid's 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, and I'm 6'9", and I'm about 9 by 7, okay?
Huh.
So that just lets you know.
Wow.
The only other hands comparable to that, Dr. J.
Ooh, huge. Now here's Lillard after the miss from Gary Payton. Leonard on the wing, covered by Anthony. 11 feet away, the Nuggets with another miss. A chance at a 2-for-1 if they want it.
If I'm them, I try it.
And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Well, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one.
The Timberwolves shooting their first free throws tonight. The first trip to the stripe in this one.
And at the line last season, about 78% as a team. Pretty solid numbers.
Yeah, they had the kind of success from the line that would make any coach breathe a sigh of relief, guys.
A free throw good from Kevin Garnett.
And, you know, Denver was not that good against the West last season, but they weren't as bad as you would have thought. Managed to get 19 wins against the rest of the conference, and we know how tough the West is, so that's not shabby.
Rodman, he's checked in for Shaq. Good on both. Well, and last year for the Nuggets, they were really searching, and they finished 12th in the Western Conference. Greg, they were 30-52.
You know, not a great place to be.
No,
let's face it. I mean, Kevin, Denver never really had a shot at the postseason, but weren't good enough to land a high draft pick either.
Here's Lillard. Shakes off the strong D and gets to the bucket for 2. Lillard's got his second bucket of the night. Here's Payton. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Wallace a screen. Payton drives in. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron.
You can't afford to get him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Neither team able to build much of a lead up to this point as we start the second quarter. And the Nuggets, guys, what jumps out to you numbers-wise?
And we've really seen them get out and establish a real nice rhythm offensively in this game.
Yeah, and they're finding ways to score multiple ways, playing well and sharing the ball, just operating good at the offensive end.
Sean Kemp is out there with Towns. Then it's Dennis Rodman. Then it's Moncrief. And it's Butler in at the 2 guard. That's the group in the game for the Nuggets. Now here's Wall. A shot by Anthony. Nobody around. And good, coming off the assist by Wall. Well, guys, how good a playmaker is John Wall? Second in assists last season to Chris Paul. Clark, he almost finished number 1.
Yeah, and the only difference really is that Paul was a little more efficient than Wall. Paul had a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Wall was only at 2.5 to 1. But some of that is Paul's experience.
And the Nuggets with some changes. Shaq comes in for Towns. And Cheeks is subbed in for Rodman. Timberwolves leading by 3. Now Peyton. It's blocked. Here's Cheeks. Feeds it to Butler. We're starting the second quarter, about a minute gone. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in.
And the one thing about John Wall, he has that air of confidence that only the truly great ones possess. He's a fearless attacker, tremendous vision and creativity, a true floor general, not just an athlete masquerading as a point guard.
4 on the clock. Maravich, he's checked in for Minnesota. Minnesota with the ball. Outside, Wall. Clock at 6. Here's Stoudemire. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
And, you know, talking about John Wall, we saw him improve his pacing last season. Sure, he still played at rapid-fire speed at times, but he also seemed to have a better understanding of when to pull it back and when to speed it up. Better change of pace in how he went about his game.
Shooting 2.
That free throw missing.
In last season, the Wolves had the hardest strength of schedule in the entire league. Might have worked out for them in the end, as come lottery time, those extra losses do tend to help.
Good on the second free throw. Well, Greg, it would work out for Minnesota with all those losses. They got the lucky bounce, Clark, and the number 1 pick in the draft.
And, you know, it's the first time in a long time that the worst team in the league actually got the top pick in the draft, allowed Minnesota to add another great young big to complement Rookie of the Year, Andrew Wiggins.
Stoudemire, the screen. Butler against Anthony. Shoots from 14. That's short off the rim.
Major defensive lapse right there. And he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You've got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
A nice shot by Shaq.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Textbook, really, when you look at how they're playing. They are having their way down low. Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact. Straightforward call. Simple.
This is his first chance at the line tonight.
All right now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
That's good from O'Neal.
You know, the Nuggets could create their offense, but they still would have trouble knocking down the shots. Just didn't have a lot of dead-eye laser shooters. Every field goal attempt with them was an adventure.
Here's what Denver's going with right now. Kawhi Leonard's checked in for Moncrief, and Damian Lillard subbed in for Cheeks. Minnesota also making some changes. Kevin Garnett is checked in for Stoudemire, and Allen Iverson is subbed in for John Wall. Nuggets did have their problems on the offensive end, too, something that's rare for them, hitting the open shot and the mid-range shot and beyond being one of them.
You know, Kevin, how about being last in the league in catch and shoot field goal percentage? I mean, got a good amount of looks that way, but really struggled shooting only 34% in those situations.
The Timberwolves shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game.
Okay, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
That free throw, no good. James Harden, he's checked in for Butler. Ben Wallace, he's checked in for Minnesota. Is no good. And we've seen it all, guys. The Nuggets have been in free fall the last couple years. Part of that is their play at home, where GA, they used to be invincible.
You remember back in the day, Kevin, I mean, one of the most difficult places to play was in Denver. I mean, you're dealing with the thin air, but that hasn't been the case here of late.
George Karl just prided his team on what they did at home. Lillard outside. Now about 3 minutes gone in this second quarter of basketball. A 3-ball. They grab their own miss. O'Neal kicks to Kemp, and it is flushed down with a nice jam.
Solid on the one-hand throw down there.
You know, Clark, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, and one reason why I just don't know that I've ever seen him miss a play like that.
Now here's Iverson. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. The 3 from Anthony. Can't get it to go. And the Nuggets going the other way. Lillard outside. O'Neal passes to Harden. Back to O'Neal. Good. It's Harden with the assist that time. And now a 6-point Nugget lead.
Well, they've done a great job of getting into the middle of that defense and scoring in the paint.
And that's why they're on this run. You get that close to the hoop, and it's a lot easier to make shots. And I love the way he uses his size there to make sure he gets that board.
That'll do it for the first half. Nuggets ahead. They finish off the second quarter on a 12-3 run. From the Pepsi Center in downtown Denver, we're back in a moment.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, folks. Ernie Johnson here along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We're going to break down the first half action for you. A pretty close game for the Nuggets throughout the first quarter. Nothing seemed to give way on either side of the scoring column as they wrapped up the period all knotted up. The second quarter was when things really came together for them, and the result is they were able to build a solid 6-point lead at the half. Kenny, your thoughts on the Nuggets' first half?
You know what jumps out at me? Their efficiency on the offensive end. They shared the basketball. Good shot selection. They showed a lot of patience, and that patience will be tested the rest of the way.
Shaq, what'd you think about Minnesota?
Their defense is getting flat out embarrassed, however you say it, Ernie. I realize they had to deal with a team who was red hot most of the first half, but that's an excuse. You know what? They got to be aggressive. They got to step up on that D. They got to prevent that. They need more effort, Ernie.
And that'll do it for now as the second half of our game is about to get underway. Kevin Harlan has the call.
Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far. Really an incredible game from Shaquille O'Neal.
And how about his scoring in that first half? He just looked like a different player today, really on point.
quite honestly, it's been a pleasant surprise for him. You know, he really hit on something that worked in those first 2 quarters, guys.
So on the floor for Minnesota, all out there with Iverson. And it's Garnett. Then there's Chamberlain. And it's Anthony in at the 3, the small forward. Now here's Wall. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Unloads. And Anthony with the basket on the assist by Chamberlain. Anthony's got it going here in the start of the second half. The first points in the third quarter for the Timberwolves.
Hard to believe this, but Carmelo feels as if he's been underrated as a superstar to this point in his career. And I'm sure there are a lot of conflicting opinions on that topic.
Here's Anthony. He has 5. Chamberlain kicks to Wall. Got a piece of it. Stolen by O'Neal. Butler attacking. Misses from short range. For Carmelo, the numbers are there for him to be treated as a Tier 1 star still, I think, Clark, but it's hard to call him underrated.
Yeah, I think he'll be underrated until he's able to get to the championship round or maybe even win a ring. There's one thing that's clear, though. He's been under a lot of pressure since he's come into the league, and he hasn't been underrated in that regard.
Carmelo Anthony, the 3rd pick overall in the 2003 NBA draft, was in some pretty good company at the top of that one, as I recall.
I mean, you had LeBron going 1, and of course, Darko Milicic was number 2 on that list. But how about D-Wade at 4? A little bit of a surprise, Chris Bosh. You know, all those guys, with the exception of Melo, have rings.
Dennis Rodman, he's checked in for the Nuggets. And Denver has possession. 4-point game. Here's O'Neal, and he makes it look easy, dunking it hard with one hand.
Tell you what, he can do a lot more damage to that rim than that when he wants to.
And you know, Clark, with the lead they're enjoying, I'm surprised he didn't put a little something extra on that one.
Me too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad he didn't, because otherwise we'd probably have a 45-minute delay here if he shattered the backboard.
Here's Anthony after the Nuggets pick up 2. Shot clock at 5. Tipped away. Here's Garnett. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup, and while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call it a foul shot or not, but sure enough they have. So he'll head to the free throw line. For Minnesota, they have shot 3 of 6 at the foul line. And the Nuggets making a change here. Towns is checked in, and the Timberwolves also making a change. Payton's checked in.
One shot. One shot.
The Nuggets leading by 3. Outside Butler. Lillard outside. Leonard against Garnett. And out of bounds as the Timberwolves gain possession.
And really just a lack of awareness on his part. Just no idea he was right near the line.
And Minnesota has possession. Outside, Wall. Passes it to Payton. And there's a minute 45 left in the third quarter of the game. Just 5 to shoot. Here's Garnett. Another miss by Minnesota. Nuggets have gone 2 of 3 from the field to start the second half. It's now been a decade since the Minnesota Timberwolves played postseason basketball. Last trip to the postseason for the Wolves back in 2004.
That was a long time ago. And if you're wondering, that is the longest playoff drought in the league currently. Wolves want nothing more than to get back to playing playoff basketball, and featuring the #1 pick in last year's draft will help.
Good way to start, you're right.
And, you know, even though the Wolves have been out of the playoffs so long, you get the sense it won't be too much longer. They've got a really nice core to build around, and I think could be special, especially Andrew Wiggins.
Shooting two. Shooting two.
And the first one drops.
And as you mentioned, the Wolves could be back in the playoffs in due time. They are headed in the right direction. Some mistakes have been made along the way, but you have to like their future now.
James Harden, he's checked in for Denver. So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. Timberwolves trail by 4. And stolen by Lillard. And now the Nuggets fast break. Lillard with the ball and slam dunk by Butler.
Quick hands on the steal and then just mad hops on the slam.
Great sequence for them defensively and Clark offensively.
Well, one usually leads to the other, Kevin. That's just good, aggressive, attacking basketball at both ends.
And one thing about Damian Lillard, for as much as he handles the ball, for as much as he pushes the action, he doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, surprising for a young, aggressive point guard, but this guy plays wise beyond his years.
1:11 left to play in the third. Garnett with a screen on Lillard. Wall dishes to Garnett. Payton outside. Back to Garnett. Shoots from the high post. It's rebounded by Leonard. And you know, Clark, another important point regarding Lillard, for as aggressive as he has been going to the basket, he's extremely durable. He's been terrific in terms of health.
He's been an every gamer throughout his young
Isn't
career.
that something?
That is
Yeah.
remarkable. Unusual in today's NBA for sure.
Payton passes to Chamberlain. And Wall kicks to Garnett. Rebound by the Nuggets.
It has not been an easy quarter for him, at least offensively speaking.
Shot and game clock separated by 5. Lillard outside. Lets it go from the wing. Rebound by John Wall.
Almost no chance of that shot going in.
Yeah, there were a lot of other places he could have gone with the basketball instead of forcing that shot up.
Three-pointer. But they get it back. Chamberlain. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Nuggets lead by 6. And when we return, we'll get the fourth quarter rolling right here on 2K Sports. Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. Now here's Lillard. They've got O'Neal. Jimmy Butler is out there with Damian Lillard. Then there's Kawhi Leonard. And it's Kemp in at the 4 slot. That's the group on the floor for Denver. O'Neal misses.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
Garnett with a screen on Leonard. The drive by Iverson. And it's good. Fought through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
Now that's a great move to get to the hoop. Awesome finger roll finish.
And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for the Nuggets.
They've been penetrating with a certain amount of ease, guys, just as much in this half as the first.
Another thing they've done tonight well is share the ball.
One shot.
So many of
One
their
shot,
points
gentlemen.
have come off of good, crisp passes.
last season really a tale of two halves for the Wolves. When Ricky Rubio returned from injury, they just looked so much more in sync as a team.
Lillard attacking the shot by Butler. Nobody around. Good. Great play by Lillard to set it up. Lillard's got 4 assists in the game. And the pass to Payton. Garnett, the screen. Anthony on the wing. Wide open look. And he swishes it right through.
A tough first half, but it's been a different story here since the break.
Leonard dishes to Lillard. Shaq with a screen on Anthony. Shaq with the screen. Out of bounds. Minnesota takes possession. Timberwolves trail by 4. Payton outside. Final quarter of play, about a minute and a half off the clock into it. Here's Garnett. Denver grabs the miss. Pass to Kemp. Leonard kicks to Shaq. Outside Butler. Poked away and stolen by Iverson. Here's the break. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. It's on Kawhi Leonard.
All right, now, take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
Free throw good. Iverson. And both free throws good for Iverson.
And really, the tension could not be higher right now. And he looked like he was shooting free throws at practice. What a cool customer.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Hi, Kevin. I was able to hear the advice Mike Malone gave to his team during that last break. He told them, this is it, fellas. Let's hit them right out of this timeout. Put some pressure on them. Show them how much you want it. Let's go get it. Guys, he's really exhorting them to give them a burst of energy.
And thanks for that story, Doris. Butler with the ball. Iverson picks him up. Got that one up quick. And that's now 6 points for Kawhi Leonard.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
One guy who's been getting it done is Shaquille O'Neal.
And he's getting to the rack all game, and if they can't do a better job of keeping him out of the paint, they're in for a long night.
Payton passes to Garnett. Back to Payton. Out to the right wing. Goes up from the top of the key. And off the front iron, and in it goes. 9 points for Kevin Garnett.
Key buckets, and we know he delivers down the stretch.
outside. Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Kempa screen on Iverson. Five to shoot. Butler attacking. Garnett with the block. And they're able to recover. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation.
Oh, no, you hate to see that. Those are just the kind of errors that can cost you in a game like this.
James Harden, he's checked in for Jimmy Butler. .119 left in the fourth. Payton kicks to Iverson. Another miss by Minnesota. Denver in the lead. An even 3-on-3 break. Leonard dishes to Harden. Back to Leonard. On the wing. Good!
Boy, it's a scary sight when Kawhi Leonard starts lighting it up like this.
There's 57 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Iverson kicks to Garnett. No good. Great D that time from Kemp.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Lillard attacking, and it's Kemp slamming it down.
Boy, I'd have to say Lillard is one of the game's best passers right now.
And the Timberwolves with possession. They trail by 6. Kicks it to Chamberlain. Chamberlain a screen. Payton passes to Anthony. Garnett, it's good! And now they trail by just 4.
He sniffed out that board and then powered it back in.
Pure Mike Clark, so strong going back up with that one.
Playing to his strength, too, guys. That's what he's capable of.
Butler, he's checked in for Denver. Minnesota also with the sub. John Wall's checked in for Payton. And an intentional foul right there.
Honestly, just doing what they have to in order to get the basketball back.
That's a good foul, though. I like that. I mean, clock management crucial at this time of the game.
Gets the first, and that puts them up by 5. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 6-point ball game.
Good work at the line to stretch that lead out a little bit.
There's 21 seconds left in the fourth quarter. No one near Wall as he lets it go. Here's Garnett. Money!
Big man with the big-time finish.
We've got 13 seconds left in the fourth. And there's the intentional foul. No choice but to stop the clock here.
No choice but to foul there, but he's probably the last guy you want to see on the line.
but there was no time really to be selective. Stopping the clock was the priority.
And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. And he misses the second one as well, so he is 0 for 2 that time. From deep, Wall. Wall missing again.
And that's not the best of shot selection there. The defense definitely won that possession.
Yeah, I think in that case, you've got to go elsewhere with the ball. You just can't rise up over the top of him when he's on it.
And so it's Denver who comes out on top here. It was a fantastic ball game, and they did a great job making sure it didn't get away from them late.
Yeah, and they got pushed down the stretch, but they did what they needed to do and held their ground when it mattered most and got the W.
And that'll do it, folks. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you later.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Kenny the Jet Smith is here, so is Shaquille O'Neal. Time now for some highlights as we take a look at our Jordan Player of the Game.
His accuracy from the field was pretty eye-catching. I mean, if he was shooting the ball, it was going in. You rarely see a performance like this with this crazy high shooting percentage. Wow.
He was a beast on the boards tonight, guys. There's nobody else, I think no one in the world, that could match his effort on the glass tonight. Emotionally, his rebounding gave them a big lift.
And that's it for our broadcast here tonight. But we're just getting started on a new season in the NBA. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again soon.